those might have been the easiest slots I've ever cut. I've got two boards here, and I'll just explain what I did. I've got a permanent stop on this end, spacer boards in between. I used my little step clamp to keep this in place, and then did not move this stop. That was always the same. And once I get these out of the way, you'll better be able to see what I've been doing here. So butt it up against that. Use the on-tool or onboard software to make these slots. 10 inches, inch and a quarter apart. 1 inch apart on center. And so what I did was cut halfway through, flipped it end for end, and then cut the other half instead of going into my table, and they lined up perfectly. So this one I did first. You can see I got my center line here. That's how I located my grid. And then just doing the end for end flip, because they're located in the center of the board, worked out perfect. So I've got two boards that are identical. I got to sand this one, get the furries off of here, and I'll show you what I'm using for in a minute. I've got to make one more part here. I'll make that part and then come back and show you. This is the other part I was making, was this little washer, sliding washer, to take up the space between the table top and this spacer. That's going to slide in. And that gives me, let me get this adjusted down a little bit, the ability to make this stop anywhere I want up to this point. I guess I shouldn't say anywhere I want. Let me grab something that would be like a workpiece here. Let's just say I was working on this. I could adjust it to put it, you know, wherever I want it on the table. Let's just say right here. Lock this down. And then snug this one up. And that gives me the ability to lock my work in the two opposite directions of the workpiece. Then I'd have to snug this up, bring my table in here. Now that workpiece is locked in place. So I think I'm going to enjoy using this. Cutting slots with this tool was beyond easy. It was so simple, and they're perfect. I think that's going to be just wonderful. Now, if this table was dropped down for 3/4 inch work, Yeah, these would still be below the surface of the tape board, so that would be good, and that would work. The only thing I could think of that I would need to do different would be to make a couple longer ones. Because right now, taking these to the max, leaves an open space of 9 inches. Can't imagine working on something smaller than that, but you never know. I've got enough material over here to make a couple more. So these currently measure 12. I could, if I added 3 inches to each of the, to a new one, 15, that would get me right down to 1, 2, 3, about within 1 inch of each other. Yeah, that would be plenty small enough. Okay. I think I got something here. So I'm liking what I'm doing. I know this will probably evolve into some other setups, but I'm gonna cut a couple more of these at 15. So I have that capability, and actually 15 to do everything. What do they think about it? Might make them a little bit wider though. Maybe I won't. At any rate, I think this is a viable idea. We'll see how it works out. Thanks for watching. Alright, I'm going to give you a demo here of creating on this Shaper Origin. So create, slot, width is going to be 0.26, and the width is going to be, hang on, what do I want here? I want 2 inches less. They're going to be 14. Width is going to be 14. Height is going to be 0.26. And there's my slot. Because it's centered, and I drew a center line on my workpiece here. Let me see if you can try to show you that now. So I have a center line on my workpiece, and when I scanned in my grid, that's where I snapped it to, was on that, and the grid is every 1/4 inch. So I want to go 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. Locate one right there. Copy this. Go up an inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is also 3/4 of an inch down from the top, and put my second one right there. So when I cut, you can see that it's going to cut on the inside of the line there. And that's what I'll do. And my depth, I set my depth to just a little over half of the depth of the, or thickness of this workpiece. I'm going 0.2 inches, which is probably way more than half, but let me put that down to 0.125, 0.18. So not a big difference, but I'll start in the middle and cut this on this side, flip it over, and then cut the opposite side. Let me get this camera in a better spot. That was done in real time. You can't get any easier than that. Or can it get more accurate? And that is just, they're just dead nuts on. Okay, so there's one. I'll swap this one in for that. Use this as my spacer now. Turn this around the other way. There. And just repeat the same process. I'll come back when I get done here. So now I have two adjustable stops from 28 1/4 to 7/8 of an inch. I don't plan on working anything that small, but I've got a couple spares here too, I guess. If I need to maybe double it up or something, I could do that. At any rate, that'll work good. So now if I have my workpiece, lock down the one end. Lock down the other end. No movement. And then, like I said, you gotta have a spacer in here to confine it in this direction. That will be awesome. It'll just remain to be seen what happens. Well, when the table is level with the extrusion, then I won't need these spacers, these washers, homemade washers. And when the table's even lower than that, then these can hover above it without any problem. I don't think there'll be a problem. We'll see. Anyway, I'm looking forward to using that setup. Already have used it, I guess. Thanks for watching. Alright, after watching myself make these adjustable stops, I made an error and ended up with a little step in these grooves. I was able to kind of ream them out a little bit and make them work. But the error I made was when I was routing the grooves, I went from this, you know, the piece being held in here like this, and I flipped it this way when I should have gone end for end. So I learned the lesson the hard way. So today I came down here with the idea of making new ones, or extras, I guess, and this time I taped credit cards to the bottom and did not flip them and just ran them. And this is a different material. It's a little bit thinner than this plywood, but it'll work. This is MDF with a cherry ply on it. So you can see this is, if you take these two and put them side by side, and I've got arrows here indicating which side was toward the tape board. So both arrows are pointing the same direction. These line up perfectly. Now if I rotate them or flip them end for end, those grooves will still line up perfectly. And now, go the other way, flip one, and this one is more dramatic, but you can see the step I have in there. And it is, let me see if I can get them lined up there, right there. That's lined up. And now you can see the step. It's probably a good 1/16 of an inch. So unless you have your everything perfectly cut to width and locate your grooves, you know, perfectly symmetrical, you're going to run into that situation. Fortunately for me, the steps in these were probably only a 32nd of an inch. They were much smaller than this one here. But now I've got these that are perfectly cut. I cut them two different ways. One with the cards taped to the bottom of the workpiece, and one with the cards floating. This one was floating, but you can see they got a little jumpy on me, and so that can be a little disconcerting if you're not ready for it. But either way worked out well. But I guess I would prefer this method over that one. They don't move, and everything stays in place with the adjustable stops, and then basically a wedge here to hold it in place. So, lesson learned. Don't make that mistake. If you're going to flip your work, go end for end. In this case, I couldn't do that because these were not symmetrical cuts in this direction. I was making spacers on the other end, so I had to go full length. But just keep that in mind if you would ever want to flip your work. Always end for end, not edge, you know, rotating toward you or away from you on the short side of this piece. Anyway, thanks for watching.